I think I just solved gravity. So the idea is that when you think about gravity, you have two objects and like there's some kind of attractive force between them. And that's always been how it's been described as an attractive force between objects. But the universe is expanding. The question is like, how is the universe expanding? So in a void where there's nothing, there's some kind of expansion of space. Let's say that that's actually true. Let's say that space is expanding all the time, but only voids are expanding. So if you have like an object, like a planet, right? The planet is not expanding, right? The planet doesn't actually expand. It's staying still as a planet, and then the space around it is constantly expanding. If that's the case, then if you were located between a planet, like next to a planet, there's all these force vectors pushing at you from the void in all sorts of directions, except from where the planet is. The planet is a void of force. If force is coming from the universe, like space expanding, and the planet is like a lack of space because it's actually objects there. There's no void. So the idea is you invert the ideas of like what a void is. So a planet's a void of gravitational repulsion, and space itself is the presence of gravitational repulsion or a repulsive force. Then anytime that there's a giant void of a negative space near you, you will be pushed into it by the vectors coming from like the rest of the universe. So that would explain simultaneously what the universe is being expansive and also the force of gravity. But it's actually not, it's not an attractive force, it's a repulsive force. It's just that you're being repulsed into objects all the time. And so that, I think that that also aligns with the drop off, the squared drop off force of gravity. Because as the object moves away, if you think about how fire works or heat or a burning sun, if it moves twice as much away from you, then the vector, like the cross section in the sphere around you is like 4 times as small. Is that it? So like then the vectors. Okay, I'm just saying this makes a lot of sense. So the the idea is that there's forces coming in from all directions from the void of space, and the objects in reality that we see as like atoms and all that stuff, that's like where no force is coming from, and so we get pushed into them rather than being pulled into them. So and we're being pushed into them by the nature of space itself expanding. So that's where the force is coming from, rather than something like the avoid object, like space, like as an object. There's no objects in space supposedly, right? So it's not like that thing is pushing against us. It's that the space itself is actually. Do you, okay, you get what I'm talking about.